Hey, my fallen ones, and welcome to my very first Shen Pei Utz Tanetta production. I am your hostess and storyteller, Shen Pei Utz Tanetta. And for my first storytelling debut, I would like to recite a poem. Now, before I get started, I would like to make the following disclaimer. You have the right to remain vacuous. Everything you do not know can and will be used against you, most likely for profit. I am a storyteller, and this video is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, now, I was doing some research and I was going through some old newspapers from the early and mid 19th century. And I came across this poem, which I thought was like really interesting. It's a poem. It's called Old Winter is Coming, and it was written in 1858, and it was published by a newspaper called, let me see, bear with me. I'm so sorry. I'm looking at it on the screen. It was called Rathman's Journal, and it's in Clearfield, Pennsylvania. That's Rathman's Journal. So I thought it was interesting because of all of the drama that's going on in a certain YouTube sector in reference to winter is coming. So I just thought it was like really, really interesting. No coincidence that I ran into it at all. And I just thought it was really interesting. I've been reading ever since I was like 4 years old. I taught myself to read, so I read a lot and I do a lot of research. And ever since I taught myself to read, I couldn't put a book down. I would even get underneath the covers with the book and try to read that stuff. And that's probably why I'm blind now. But I love to read. I read everything I get my hands on. I like to soak up the information. I like to read things from all across the world. I read text that has been translated. I try to find the oldest things possible to read because that is where you will get the more, for lack of a better word, the more virgin information. And the older the article that you're reading is, the more information that's closer to the truth you will get. So yeah. So I was doing some research and I came across this article in this newspaper. And I'm going to read it. It's called Old Winter is Coming, and it's by Hannah F. Could. And I also found that interesting as well, that Hannah F. Could, first of all, Could is a very unique and unusual name, but Hannah is a feminine name. And I was like, wow, this is very interesting. Hannah really could, because in 1858, I'm sure it had to be really difficult for a woman to get something published, whether it was in a newspaper, a magazine, on a menu, in a book. This had to be a really great accomplishment. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get to it. So it's called Old Winter is Coming, and it's by Hannah F. Could. Like to hear it go. Old winter is coming again, alack, how icy and cold is he. He cares not a pin for a shivering bat. He's a zany old chap, to white and to black. He whistles his chills with a wonderful knack, for he comes from a cold country. A witty old fellow this winter is, a mighty old fellow for glee. He cracks his jokes on the pretty sweet miss, the wrinkled old maiden unfit to kiss, and freezes the dew of their lips. For this is the way with such fellows as he? Old Winter is a frolicsome blade. I wot he is wild in his humor and free. He'd whistle along for the want of his thought and set all the warmth of our furs at naught, and ruffles the lace by pretty girls bought, for a frolicsome old fellow is he. Old Winter is blowing his gust along and merrily shaking the tree. From morning till night he will sing his song, now moaning and short, now howling and long. His voice is loud, for his lungs are strong. A merry old fellow is he. Old Winter's a wicked old chap, I ween, a wicked as ever you'd see. He withers the flowers so fresh and green, and bites the pert nose of the Miss of 16, as she triumphantly walks in maidenly sheen. A wicked old fellow is he. Old Winter, a tough old fellow for blows, as tough as you'd see. He will trip up our trotters and rend our clothes and stiffen our limbs from fingers to toes. He minds not the cry of his friends or his foes. A tough old fellow is he. A cunning old fellow is Winter, they say. A cunning old fellow is he. He creeps in the creevies day by day to see how we're passing our time away, and marks all our doings from grave to gay. I'm afraid he's peeping at me. And so there you have it. Old Winter is Coming by Hannah F. Could. Thank you, Hannah. I just thought that was so funny. It really tickled me when I came across that. It really did. I just thought that was like hilarious, considering what's going on in a certain YouTube sector, like I mentioned earlier. But that's all for today. I'm going to wrap this up and I'll be back with another story. In the meantime, hit the like button, hit subscribe. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. And I'll be back with another story. And in the meantime, enjoy your holidays. I hope your Christmas tree is wrapped around with the people that matters most to you in your life and people who truly love you. And I just hope you enjoy yourself. Enjoy the time that you have with those that truly matter to you. And I'll be back again for another story. Thank you. Later.